have your memo that you can see this evening, but you're not going to like this. Because you're not going to have the recommendation.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the April 27th legislative session of the Salisbury City Council. A few quick announcements this evening. We have a few additional presentations to make this evening, and we do have our community presentation as well scheduled for this evening. Real quick, if you happen to have a cell phone, if you wouldn't mind turning it off, putting it on silent, we'd appreciate it. If you got to take a critical call, if you could do so in the hallway, we would appreciate that as well. I'll now invite Pastor Reiner to come forward from Faith Baptist Church. Pastor Reiner, if you would deliver the city invocation.
Let's pray. Our Father and God, we thank you so much for the privilege that is ours to be part of this great country and this state, this county, and tonight the city. Lord, we thank you for city government, for each leader and the many volunteers and people that just serve this great community. We ask, dear God, tonight for your wisdom and guidance and watch care over the meeting tonight and the decisions that are made. May your will be done, and may you continue to bless this city and this great country of ours. And we'll thank you for it in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Ryan. Would you all please rise with me and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The very first presentation we have this evening, Mr. Mayor, I'll invite you to come forward, and if you could call your special guests up. Our special guests, I should say.
Kim and Diane, if you will come forward, please. Diane's here, or did she go already?
She's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the staff of the city clerk's office for the city of Salisbury, and I'm going to yield a couple seconds to Council President Day for some remarks about Kim and Diane.
So I think the four people behind this table know for sure, and I hope everyone out there in the audience knows as well, that these ladies make city government function. Particularly, they make all of this happen and happen as well as it does, and we apologize that it isn't better, but that's our fault, not yours. Kim and Diane, our city clerk and assistant city clerk, do such an incredible job. I know everybody who calls them for information, knows what wonderful people they are, what great communicators they are, and how calm and even-keeled they are, no matter the request that comes in. So we appreciate you. I know every council member appreciates you, and I'm sure the people of Salisbury appreciate you as well.
So our proclamation this evening is dedicated to Kim Nichols and Diane Nelson, our clerks here in Salisbury. And it says, whereas the office of the municipal clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government, it exists throughout the world and is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between citizens, governing bodies, and agency governments at all levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And might I add that that is incredibly true of the two of you. And whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of both the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, province, county, and international professional organizations. Now, therefore, I, James Ireton, Jr., Mayor of the City of Salisbury, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through May 9th, 2015 as Municipal Clerks Week in our city in recognition of the accomplishments of the Office of the Municipal Clerk, and extend appreciation to our clerks, Kim Nichols and Diane Nelson, and to all Maryland municipal clerks for their vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities that they serve. Kim, Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you. working for the city of Salisbury and you all, and you're not supposed to catch us off guard like this. You're not supposed to do that.
And ditto.
It took a little help, but it's not easy.
Now back to work.
Thank you.
Right. You know, it is true, but from simple things like hawkers and peddlers licenses to going back 50, 60, 70 years into the vault downstairs to find out things that have shaped the way we are today. These two people know where everything is, and they do it with such grace and impartiality. And again, Kim, both to you and to Diane, thank you so much for everything you do every day.
Thank you.
And they keep us out of trouble.
It's true.
They do.
It's either you need to go into closed session or you need a second for that. Next up, over 50 people throughout our city were recognized over the last couple weeks for years of service to the city of Salisbury, and we have 6 members of our Salisbury employee community that are going to be recognized this evening. But I would like to take this opportunity to ask several people to come forward. These are people who are the head of departments that work here. First, Mike Molds, our Director of Public Works. If you'll come forward back behind me. Mr. Jack Lennox, our Director of Planning and Zoning. If you'll come forward. Mr. Keith Cordry, our Director of Internal Services. If you'll come forward, and representing Chief Duncan, Major Scott Kolb of the Salisbury Police Department, if you'll come forward as well. Also this evening, we do have for employees who had over 25 years of service, graciously, our delegate Carl Anderton has also supplied us with a thanks and accommodation to them as well. And I would also like, because he is here in the audience this evening, it should be recognized, our Wicomico County Councilman John Hall, who is a city resident. John, if you'll come up forward too as well and shake hands with everyone. I got to do it. That's good. If Kim had put it in the minutes, you'd have known, but since we had to surprise her, we thought we surprised you too. First off, I'd like to recognize, hold on a second, John Tull of the Salisbury Fire Department, our Assistant Chief for 21 years of service. John, if you'll come forward. And if I could ask the Chief of the Fire Department, Rick Hoppus, to come up forward too. John, if you'll just shake hands and go. Good. Sorry. Kim didn't write it down. I'm not going to get it right. Next up is ACO David Shanks of the Salisbury Police Department with 25 years of service. Dave? Next year. Next up is Robert Connectal from the Public Works Department and the Wastewater Treatment Plant for 15 years of service. Robert. Also from the Wastewater Treatment Plant, Department of Public Works, Alfonso Henry, who has been with us for 15 years. Unsung heroes at the wastewater treatment plant, wouldn't you say, Mr. Council President, after all these years?
No kidding.
And from the water plant, 2 billion gallons of water each year to our citizens, Daniel Ciancito, 15 years of service. Did you all go around that way? Make sure you... I'm going to try. Yep.
Now know where you work at.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, can we get a picture?
Really, this mug?
Turn that chair around. Yes.
If we could give all these employees a round of applause, please, again, we are proud of them.
Mary, are you going to go right into the next ones?
Mr. Council President, so many times over the last several years, Salisbury University has stepped up to be a part of our changing community and moving us forward. And one of the ways they do that is through their participation, both with the Chamber of Commerce and through businesses and organizations here in downtown Salisbury. We don't have anybody here from Salisbury University. We do have a proclamation to announce Salisbury University's inaugural Entrepreneur Week, scheduled for May 4th. Through 9th, 2015. This proclamation says, whereas Salisbury University and the Franklin P. Purdue School of Business have long been supporters of entrepreneurial spirit in our community, increasing entrepreneurship awareness in our community by hosting business funding competitions. And whereas Salisbury University will host business entrepreneurial competitions during Entrepreneurship Week, I've said that word 4 times so far without messing up, including Invest in My Idea poster competitions, the Gull Cage Shark Tank competition, and the Richard Bernstein Achievement Award for Excellence Business Plan competition. And whereas the university will host the 4th round of the Philip E. and Carol E. Radcliffe Shore Hatchery Program during Entrepreneurial Week. And whereas Entrepreneurship Week culminates on Saturday, May 9th, 2015, when the university will partner with local affiliate 47 ABC and Maryland Capital Enterprises to again host an open casting call for Shark Tank, the business-themed reality show which offers a venue for entrepreneurs to present their ideas and business plans to investors who have the potential to fund their startup business. Now, therefore, I, James Ireton, Jr., Mayor of the City of Salisbury, do hereby proclaim May 4th through 9th, 2015 as Salisbury University Entrepreneurship Week in our city, in special recognition of all of our family and friends at the university and their continued support of the business owners of tomorrow, and in appreciation of the boost to our local economy when these new business provide new jobs. So we will deliver that to the President's office just as soon as we can.
7 times, you said.
7, you counted.
Successful.
That's a long one. Now, Kim and Diane write these things, so I'm going to go back to them. And sometimes when you're out in the community doing it and you're out of breath, and you got to keep going and keep going. Normally, I'll make people raise their hand and be a part of that. It's always fun. This next certificate of recognition is absolutely incredible, and it is being given to the Arts and Entertainment District Committee for their Outstanding Achievement Award that they just recently received from the Maryland State Arts Council. I know that many of you traveled to Hagerstown. I was on the phone with Mayor Geisberts right before he went on to introduce you all and introduce himself and welcome you to Hagerstown. But this is a crowning achievement for this city and for the many volunteers in the arts community who have been on the forefront of making things happen here that are happening now. So I will ask Lee Whaley and Connie Strott to please come forward, and I know all of the people here in this room, many of those from the arts community are with you, and I know they stand with you, but I am going to ask the 2 of you to come forward, if you would please, right now. Lee and Connie, this is a certificate of recognition presented to the Salisbury Arts and Entertainment District Committee from all of us here in Salisbury in recognition of achieving the annual Outstanding Achievement Award from the Maryland State Arts Council, an award which recognizes the committee's commitment to ongoing revitalization through strategic partnerships, thriving art centers, new businesses, and popular events, all contributing to a vital community and a growing economy. This certificate is issued in recognition thereof by the mayor and the city council on behalf of all of our citizens here in Salisbury, dated this 27th day of April 2015, and signed by myself and City Council President Jacob Day. Ladies.
Before we begin, if all of the arts and entertainment team members could please come forward, please. We have something that we would like to present to the city in return. You have no idea what we just went through to get this award.
I know.
Today.
Moments ago.
Hello, I want to introduce myself. I'm Connie Strott, and I am the co-chair with Lee Whaley of the Salisbury Arts and Entertainment District. And I can't tell you how excited we were to receive the A&E Outstanding Achievement Award from the state of Maryland at the annual meeting of the Arts and Entertainment District Managers Meeting in Hagerstown. And because so many people don't quite understand what the Arts and Entertainment District really means, if you'll bear with me for just a second, I'll give you just a very brief background. Maryland was one of the first states to designate arts and entertainment districts statewide to utilize the arts as a tool for economic development. In 2006, we received our state designation, which, among other things, provides tax incentives within the designated district to help grow local economies and create a sense of place in our downtown. Our projects have included, very proud to present this, Third Friday, Arts on the Plaza, and all these people behind me, New Year's Eve Ball Drop, Riverside Arts and Crafts Market, the Park and Flea, Public Art Initiative, and the newly established First Saturday. All was started as an economic development tool to positively drive the economy of downtown Salisbury. And add a few figures to this, because some of us like to hear figures. In the state of Maryland, an estimated 6,000 jobs have been created through the A&E initiatives, and $198.5 million in wages have been generated.
Well, first of all, let me say that fiscal year 14 was a really positive time for the A&E team, as much of the time and the effort and all of the groundwork that the team had invested over the last few years at the district really started to produce visible results, and that was really exciting. We're very fortunate to have a city that recognizes and values the arts as a strong force for economic development in our community. So, City, Mayor, and Council, your support, combined with the energy and the enthusiasm of all of our volunteers and other stakeholders in the downtown, has really been the key contributor to all of our progress. Now, let me introduce our dynamic A&E team, of which we are very, very proud. I'm going to go alphabetically. First of all, raise your hand. Michael Day, Jamie Heater, Susan Holt, Rachel Terzik, our immediate past chair, Ray Voris, Pat Voris, and Mike Wigley. We also have, and this is representing hundreds of volunteers, but these are two that have just started with us from the very beginning. So I want to recognize Marie Cavallero and Sue Stein, and they represent the hundreds of volunteers that are with us. I also want to recognize Ernie Colburn, who is the president and CEO of the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, which is our parent organization. Ernie is amazing. Whatever we need help with, he's always there. So Ernie, thank you very much for supporting us. So, Mayor, if you'll come forward.
Yes.
You've got the trophy. So
Yes, I do.
I'll take the mic and you take the trophy. We're very pleased to present the city with this award that represents countless volunteer hours and the hard work and enthusiasm of many, many stakeholders who really care about our downtown, and we're very committed to keeping the positive momentum going. So this is for the city, from the volunteers of the city and downtown.
This is the Maryland State Arts Council, the Maryland State Arts Council Arts and Entertainment District Outstanding Achievement Award 2015 to the City of Salisbury Arts and Entertainment District. Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
You all have to go back for another pose here?
Probably. Yeah, don't go too far.
Yeah. Back to the picture.
Front and center.
Julia's gonna take our picture.
Yeah. I'm going in back by Jamie.
Lee and Connie, I just want to say that as I looked at your team there, just looking at these faces and knowing these names, you've got a team of superstars. Yeah. They truly are. I mean, and they've made so much good happen for this city. So congratulations on keeping such wonderful people involved in the organization. And thank you to the Chamber. Thank you, Ernie, for stewarding and shepherding this organization to such success. Mr. Mayor, I understand you've got...
I was just going to say, besides congratulations this evening to the Arts and Entertainment Committee, to our partners at Salisbury University, and to all of our employees for their years of service. We're celebrating tonight in Salisbury, but not everyone is celebrating throughout our state of Maryland this evening. So I would just say, on a more somber note to all of us here, if you could envelop our community and our state in your thoughts and prayers this evening, it would be greatly appreciated, and the thoughts and prayers of all of Salisbury go throughout Maryland tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have one more important presentation this evening. I'm going to invite Courtney Geiser forward to make a presentation on behalf of the Life Crisis Center about the Pinwheels for Protection project.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
One more. Pardon my reach.
All the Maryland mail stuff.
Let me get this something ready here. Sorry, hold on one second. I had a how we rely on our cell phones these days for things instead of like just printing everything out.
No problem.
Okay, well, hi everybody. Like you said, my name is Courtney Geiser, and I am here tonight to speak to you on the behalf of Pinwheels for Protection. And before telling you about our mission behind this campaign, I'd like to read you a quote, and just want you to really listen carefully to the words of this quote, and then I will tell you where this quote originated from. You know when you've got that kid. You know when that kid trusts you. In the meantime, you're grooming the family. You portray yourself as a church leader, a music teacher, or whatever it takes to make that family think that you are okay. You show that child, you show the parents that you are really interested in that child. You just trick the family into believing that you're the most trustworthy person in the world. Every time one of my victims, their families, just totally offered, they thought that there was nobody there for their kids and that I could fully take care of them and they would trust me wholeheartedly. They did. They trusted me wholeheartedly with their children. That quote was actually spoken by a convicted pedophile. That is something out of his mouth. And if your reaction, like mine, hearing that, is one of disgust, and I grabbed your attention with those words, if you really heard what I was saying, and you're at all uncomfortable, then I've done part of what I've already come here to do, and that is for you guys to realize this is not okay, and this is shocking. This is the start of something we need to change. These people are out here preying on our children, and we have been taught a lot about stranger danger in school, a lot about drugs, things, preached different things in school about what we need to do, talk about things, talk about things, talk about things. Well, unfortunately, child abuse is something we've been told not to talk about. And when we don't talk about it, the first person that talks about it to our children is the predators. That's the education that they're getting from the start. Child abuse does not discriminate, as I think many people, the misconception that we all have is, I shouldn't say all, but many of us tend to think it affects maybe certain people in certain economic status, or maybe if you have a certain job, or you surround your families with people that you think are good people and safe, and you think, okay, this is something that happens to people over there. That's not my problem. It doesn't happen to me. Well, in 2013, my husband Roy was appointed president of the Life Crisis Center, and he was honored to be helping with such a worthy organization. He would come home after board meetings educating me on the organization and what they do to help our Tri-County area, which is magnificent. He had gotten to know many good and respected people in the community through his involvement there. Well, that is why I'm here to talk to you tonight about Pinwheels for Protection, a campaign that I, along with the support of Life Crisis and Wicomico County Child Advocacy Center, have initiated to spread awareness about child abuse. And when I say that's why I am here and why I referred to my husband's position at Life Crisis, it's not just to tell you that that's where our knowledge of that originated from. It's to also tell you that a month later, ironically, after my husband was appointed to this position, our whole world was completely changed around. A month later, after we thought we knew so much about what was going on, we too became victims. We became parents of victims of child abuse. And it was not a stranger. It was somebody that had been involved in our lives for over 10 years. We trusted him with our children. We gave him full respect. Our children looked up to him and loved him, and never one second did I think I was doing anything to hurt my children. So a month later, here he is, from the president of Life Crisis to sitting on the other side of that table saying, help me, what do we do? What do we do here? This is this organization, and now the meaning of this organization has completely changed, and I am that person that I thought I would never be. So that's really why I'm here. And I know I haven't explained a whole lot about the organization itself. This is the first year that we have done it. Unfortunately, through all this, we have learned a lot about the CAC, the resources that are out there for us here. They're really, it's amazing, amazing support system here. We have such a strong, between the two, CAC, social services and child advocacy, we have so much. But unfortunately, again, without talking about things like this, there's some of us that just, we think we don't need to worry about that organization. We don't need to contribute. It's not going to happen to us. But with the knowledge I've learned, I've also learned that the funding and everything that goes, all the things that go into making Life Crisis and CAC stay strong is from our community. We need to support these organizations. We need to raise money. We need to talk about it to our kids. We need to put it out there and say, this is something that happens. Teach them about safe touch, unsafe touch. Teach them about safe secrets, unsafe secrets. Don't let other people teach your children about these things when it's too late. That's the one thing I learned is I was fortunate enough because my child did come to me after 3 years, but and I thought I was doing all the right things, and I was teaching all the things that we were taught, but not these essential things, not the simple facts of you can talk to somebody and it is okay to do it, and there will be somebody there to listen. So with Pinwheels for Protection, this year, looking into more of what's going on in Wicomico County, we have the highest The highest rate of reported victims in the state of Maryland. Last year it was over 500. Over 500 children. We have established this, this organization to basically put it in your faces like I did with that quote. Put it out there. Say, this is happening. Let's look at it. Let's take a look. Put a visual aid out there. Make people drive by. And yes, it's a beautiful display, the pinwheels. It's on Snow Hill Road and College Avenue. And it catches your eye. But when it catches your eye, the hope is a child's in your car with you. Mommy, Daddy, what's that? And then it forces that conversation. It says, you know, this is what this is for. And if you don't know, maybe it'll encourage somebody to say, I need to look into this because I really should know. I should know more about this. We started this sort of, it was later than I had hoped. I had been really, in the past, about a year ago, the perpetrator who unfortunately victimized our family, he is now in jail, hopefully, for the rest of his life, quite a long time. But I felt like my work was not done. And it was not done because I know I can't change the past, but I can do something to change the future. And I can keep other people from being in the same position that we were in the ways that we weren't aware of. So what we have done since April, which is absolutely amazing and shows the strength of this community, it truly does. Together with Life Crisis, they backed me up wholeheartedly, and CAC, we started thinking of ways to get this pinwheel garden out there. We had the Moose donated the land generously. We started just using social media, getting out there. Our goal so far going into this, my husband and I thought, wow, if we could get $3,000, all of which, by the way, goes to the Child Advocacy Center and the Life Crisis for this purpose. It goes straight to them. $3,000, that would be great. We started so late. Well, I am actually very honored and proud to say that as of today, we've raised over $9,000 in a matter of 3 weeks. So it shows that it shows people really care. We did a fundraiser at the Brick Room, and it was a guest bartending. It brought so many people. They said it was busier than any Saturday night that they've had in there, and just in that night alone, we raised $3,600 just in tips. People coming in and saying, thank you for doing this. Thank you. We had, what we started to do was sell pinwheels, paper pinwheels that you could display your name on and put them in different businesses. The Chamber of Commerce helped us out a lot with that. And we have Bank of Hebron. We had Farmers Bank of Willard. Several places put these pinwheels up, $1 a piece, just saying, yes, I support this cause. And then people have been able to donate, which you still can. This is still ongoing online at Life Crisis' website. There's a drop box for Pinwheels for Protection. Our hope for this is that this is just the beginning, that this is something that's going to get stronger and spark more conversation and more change in the state, or well, in our community, and just keep growing. This is not the last year. This is the first of many. And I continue to do whatever, I'm going to do whatever it takes till people say it's okay to speak about this and break that silence. And that's really what this is all about. It's not about the money, which is huge because that goes to the children, but it is about that awareness. It is about making you stop and think that this needs to change. I'm going to close with a quote from Winston Churchill. He said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak, and courage is what it also takes to sit down and listen." Well, over a year ago, I never thought I would have the courage to sit down and listen to what I heard from my child, but I did it. And here I am, and now I'm standing and I'm speaking about it. So what I'm asking of you is to do the same. Right now, you've already done half of what you need to do. You've sat and you've listened, and I thank you for that. Now I'm asking you from when we leave this room that you too stand up and speak, and we can make a difference and change this in our county. And with that, I'd like to introduce Jamie Dykes as well. She's been amazing in helping me with all this, and she can tell you the special place that she holds in her heart for this, and she's also going to tell us about, or tell you guys about some of our future plans, what we're hoping to do from today on. So.
Thank you.
Dykes. Some of you know me. I've prosecuted, stand up, I'm sorry. Thanks. Prosecuted in this county for 9 years. Mostly seven of those were at the Child Advocacy Center. It's amazing work that they do. Amazing, amazing work. As Courtney said, the services that the CAC provides and all of the partnering agencies. I see Chief Duncan. Hopefully, most of you in this room will have no idea what it's ever like to be in Courtney's shoes. I'm honored that she's asked me to be part of the awareness campaign because if our children know that it's okay to talk about it, if they have the courage that Courtney and Roy do by putting themselves out here saying, look, you're not alone, and let's talk about it. That's huge. If one child feels safe enough to disclose, if it's not to mom or dad, if it's to a teacher, a therapist, a police officer, then we have done our work. They couldn't be more courageous. I'm not sure I could do what Courtney and Roy have done, but it's much needed. Courtney's, as part of the awareness campaign, is pushing for the legislature to pass Aaron's Law. If anyone knows what Aaron's Law is, it's so that children can learn about sex abuse in schools, because a lot of parents aren't going to talk about it for any number of reasons. If children are able to disclose it, they know that school is a safe place. If they have words to describe what has been done to them. That's the problem when you have 4- and 5-year-old children. They don't even have words. They have no words to describe what's happened to them. Then hopefully we'll have less offenders on the street and less children being victimized. So I want to thank Courtney and Roy for what they've done and asking for the community support to help get Aaron's Law passed. And did you want to tell them about Thursday night?
We are also, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, so that's why we focused on this month. Of course, we want to continue this, not just stop because it's the end of April, but continue it, keep it in everybody's mind fresh, and it's just that 1 month we're focused on the Pinwheels Project. But this Thursday, we are actually doing a harvesting of the pinwheels, which we are encouraging families and members of the community to come out, and if your children especially come out and take the pinwheels home with you. So it's a way of us cleaning up the area, but then also taking them home and put them in your own yard. So then you are supporting it, and it continues to go. That's one more piece of awareness we're putting out there, and we just want to recognize the people that have been involved in it, and just kind of, we're doing it on April 30th as symbolic as basically the end of the month. We're hoping and to continue to end the silence of child abuse and the epidemic itself. So that's why we chose to do it also at the end of that date. It's at 7 p.m. again at the Moose Lodge. The field is located at the Moose Lodge and Snow Hill Road. And I also want to say that through this, I am proof that the speaking up does what it does to change children after the fact, because I can say that my daughters have been so empowered by all this, and if I do nothing else, just to see the look on their faces. I mean, they're out the Fruitlands Falcon Field, because we brought some of these out to sell at the Falcons Field, and my daughter's like, can I go around and ask people to support this and give them flyers and tell, she's yelling, and I mean, I am so proud of what she has turned this into, and she's going to be something great, and she's going to be okay. We have a long road ahead of us, and it's going to be ups and downs because it's not something that ever goes away, but that's just proof to show you can make a difference even after something happens. If there's a process to just stay involved is the main thing. Just keep on top of it, and hopefully the more educated we become too, then these predators out there are going to say, Well, everybody, they know what to look for. These games that we're playing, they're going to be on to us. It's not going to be so easy to play. And the person that did this to us was very prominent in this community, very well respected. He was not creepy. He was somebody that a lot of people looked up to. So there is no stereotype. We just need to say, let's talk about it. That's my message. So thank you, everybody.
Ms. Geiser. Ms. Geiser, before you sit down, just real quick, first of all, I want to say my heart goes out to you and your family. Second of all, thank you for your leadership and strength and the courage of your entire family. And third, if anyone watching on PAC 14 or here is interested in donating, how could they do so? Can you share that?
Sure. You can, different ways. The main way, probably seems the way that a lot of people have chosen to do it, is if you go onto the Life Crisis website, which is www.lifecrisiscenter.org. And there are some flyers up before you leave, too, that you can grab a little bit more about it. If you go onto that website as well, there's a drop-down box, and it'll tell a little bit more about this project, as well as you'll learn more about Life Crisis and how you can even get involved with that. They take donations as even food, but clothes and things that you're handing down. They take them there because they house women that have had to flee from their homes because of domestic violence and have nowhere else to go. So that's also, you can always donate to them that way. But for this particular thing, you can donate that way. Some people have contacted me personally, and I can give you my email address if you'd like. It's csgeiser, which is GEISER, @hotmail.com. Some people prefer to go directly toward me, which is fine. And Thursday, some people may want to just make donations that way as well, to coming out and supporting that. And like I said, some of these bigger events are ending in April because of the nature of being Child Abuse Awareness Month, but you can still continue to donate past the end of April as well. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. As we move on to our legislative agenda, I'd also like to acknowledge that our delegate Carl Anderton is here this evening. And Delegate Anderton, thank you for your proclamations for the city employees for their service.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Delegate.
You got a quick minute for an update real quick?
Please. How could we not invite you to the podium?
Real quick, as you know, for the past few years in Salisbury, we've had Evolution Craft Brewing, and we've got Tall Tales down in Pittsville, Maryland, and Evolution was getting ready to hit the state mandated threshold for barrels produced at 22,500. And in order for them to pass that threshold, they'd have to close their restaurant, laying off 70 employees. Well, we were successful this session in passing a bill that will allow Evolution and eventually Tall Tales to go to 45,000 barrels per year, hire 50 new employees at Evolution, keep the 70 restaurant employees. The restaurant will be able to stay open. And I wanted to tell you that bill will be signed into law tomorrow morning. So, very good. So I just wanted to come by and deliver that message to you guys and wish you all a great night and wonderful continuance of your meeting. So,
thank you for fighting for this economy around here. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, I will now entertain a motion to adopt the legislative agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes. I wasn't at the work session when the resolution number 2495 was discussed. I'd like to put that after the consent agenda just for some clarification.
2496?
2495.
Oh, you want to move resolution 2495 from the consent agenda?
And put it after the consent agenda.
Okay.
For discussion.
All right.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor of the legislative agenda as amended, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Nichols?
Hello again.
Hello.
On the consent agenda this evening, we have the April 6, 2015 work session minutes, the April 13th, 2015 regular meeting minutes. We have the approval of a manufacturing exemption for Delmarva Printing and Design Incorporated for equipment they purchased in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Resolution number 2492, approving a lease with Shore Fresh Growers Association for the purchase of operating a producer's farmers market in downtown Salisbury. Resolution number 2493, approving a lease with the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce for the purpose of operating a park and flea market in downtown Salisbury. And resolution number 2494, approving the mayor to sign the grant agreement and accept a grant of $68,785 from the Maryland Department of the Environment for City Yard Comprehensive Environmental Site Design. And that would be it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. And I just want to ask first that I want to acknowledge Ernie Colburn from the Chamber and Michael Day from Salisbury Arts and Entertainment District for continuing the partnership on the Park and Flea. We don't have anyone in the room representing shore growers, do we? No. But we appreciate both of those staples in our downtown. So thank you, Mr. Colburn. Thank you, Mr. Day. No relation.
Is Lindsay going to do
Okay, next item on our agenda is Resolution 2495, removed from the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2495.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Now, the question I
Yeah,
had,
the question.
I don't support city service centers, as you well know. I think the officers should be out in the street, not in the offices or places. I think I've heard that over the years. They want to see foot patrol. They want to see more visibility of the police department. The question I had, number one, I looked at the budget and I saw they had city center in the budget. And with this new city center that we're going to do that's donated, it is not free. It cost first year $9,520. And I didn't see it were reflected in the budget, this year's budget. And also, we still have the city center over in the President's neighborhood.
Let's see. First question on the budget, Mr. Stevenson. Can you respond to that?
The funding for this particular lease agreement is not currently reflected in the FY16 budget as proposed.
Okay. Is that because we haven't yet approved it?
It's not there.
15? I mean, that we haven't even approved the...
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was
All right.
saying.
So we'd have to add that during budget session.
That's
Okay. Good point.
Then, yeah, and then the second question I had was,
Someone may be able to respond to the second question. You just walked in the room. Chief Duncan? Yes. The question that was asked, the second question was, is the other city service center or the other substation still open in the President Street neighborhood?
Yes, it is. We've used it a couple of times this past year for several different operations that we've had in conjunction with other city departments, Fire Department, Neighborhood Services, Public Works. So yes, we have used that location.
twice?
Yes.
Okay. And
For
is that-
major operations
Yeah, yeah.
specific to that neighborhood, yes.
And is the cost, monthly cost for electric and all that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that reflected in this year's budget? I see one city center there, so that must be that one.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Now, my question is, when I see this, it says for doing reports and et cetera, et cetera. Well, I thought the police had computers that they could do their reports in. They wouldn't have to be inside a building. I would like to see more police officers in the streets, not inside a building. Was there a reason why this was picked, or was it just because it was donated?
Well, certainly.
See, I'm answering these questions. I apologize, because you don't get the questions answered prior to the meeting. I like
That's okay.
Work session.
we always look for public-private partnerships, to address our quality of life and crime issues throughout the city. And this particular property owner approached us right at a time when we were having a very difficult crime issue that we were attempting to address in the Camden neighborhood. We later learned quickly after that the problem that we were having in Camden was actually spilling over into Princeton Homes and then our Delaware Avenue neighborhood. It was kind of this pass-through. Certainly that would be our meeting spot, our spot to hold community awareness meetings, neighborhood meetings, car seat installation, bicycle registrations, and the idea is that we have equipment there on site to host various meetings, to have our officers go respond to that location, patrol either on foot or on bike, and make that their base of operation.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you.
Always. Yeah, and I think to address your point about the deployment patterns of police officers in the community, I think all council members at that meeting agreed with you. But given the relatively low cost of the maintenance, and given that this was the administration and the police department's desire to deploy using that as a resource, council deferred to the administration and to the police.
I had the answers in the back of my mind, because I know what happened, in that neighborhood.
Right.
But because I figured this summer, the students would be gone, so it'd be something else, over there. Okay.
Well, that particular issue is ongoing. It has evolved, and we've taken certain measures to address that issue with all three of those neighborhoods. So we are constantly working, on the problem, on the issue, and we're making strides. And we think that the substation there it's a perfect tie, for both of the outlying neighborhoods and, of course, the Camden neighborhood as well.
And then you're close where you can go get your lunch.
Yes, right down the hall,
Yeah.
which is great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Satisfactorily answered? Okay. Anything else? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of Resolution 2495, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item on our agenda is the second reading and public hearing for ordinance number 2323. This is the reallocation and restructure of the Idolet property TIF bonds. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2323.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay. Mr. Tillman?
The summary. Ordinance number 2323, second reading, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Salisbury authorizing and empowering the city to execute and deliver in exchange for the outstanding City of Salisbury special obligation bonds, the Villages at Idolet Farm Project, Series 2007, the original bonds, the proceeds of which were applied to finance or reimburse the cost of certain infrastructure, improvements in accordance with the Tax Increment Financing Act and the Special Taxing District Act identified herein, reserves and other costs permitted by such acts, such amended and restated bonds to be executed and delivered in an initial aggregate principal amount not to exceed $9,775,000 and to be structured as capital appreciation bonds with an accretion value not to exceed 5.24%. The amended and restated bonds. In connection with the restructuring of the original bonds, providing that such amended and restated bonds shall neither constitute a general obligation debt of or a pledge of the city's full faith and credit or taxing powers, providing for the further specification, prescription, determination, provision for, or approval of various other matters, details, documents, and procedures in connection with the authorization, security, execution, delivery, exchange, and payment for any such amended and restated bonds, making certain legislative findings, providing that this ordinance shall be deemed to supplement and amend ordinance number 2019 passed by the council on November 27, 2006, approved by the mayor on November 28, 2006, and effective on November 28, 2006, and generally providing for the amended and restated bonds. And the author of this ordinance is present in the room this evening, City Bond Counsel Lindsay Rader. So if you have any questions, they would best be directed to her.
Well, can you repeat the second part?
Where would you describe the second part? As
not sure since that was one sentence. Okay. Are there questions for Ms. Rader from council? Okay, I'd now like to go ahead and open the public hearing. And anyone who wishes to be sworn in needs to be, or anyone who wishes to testify needs to be sworn in by the city clerk. So if you wish to testify, please rise now. Okay, then the public hearing is closed. All right, any other questions or comments from council? Okay. All those in favor of ordinance number 2323, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you all. All right. Look forward to enabling that project to move forward. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you for being here. Next item on our agenda is the award of bids. I'll entertain a motion to approve the award of bids.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Miller?
First time that's happened.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
The first item this evening is the award of bid for RFP 10-15. It's the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, construction management and inspection services. The City of Salisbury Internal Services Department Procurement Division received a request from the Public Works Department to solicit bids for RFP 10-15 wastewater treatment plant upgrade, construction management and inspection services. The construction management vendor will be responsible for overall project coordination and engineering support for the upgrade, including key functions such as leading the construction in progress meetings, monitoring contractors' compliance with MDE requirements, document control of submittal review and approval process, and schedule review. In addition, this solicitation requires that the vendor provide 2 full-time inspectors who will be the construction manager's full-time representatives at the site. The inspector will observe the progress and quality of the work and be responsible for oversight of the contractor and inspection of the work to ensure conformance with the contract documents. The procurement department followed standard bid practices by advertising in the Daily Times, on the City of Salisbury's website, utilizing the city's vendor list, and advertising on the State of Maryland's website, eMaryland Marketplace. A total of 4 vendors submitted a bid by the due date and time of March 12, 2015 at 2:30 p.m. An evaluation committee comprised of Salisbury Public Works employees reviewed the vendor proposals and ranked each proposer on a scale of 0, which is unacceptable, to 4, superior, according to the evaluation criteria established in the RFP and which is also noted in your council packet. There's also a matrix there that shows the ranking for each of the 4 vendors. Per the award procedures defined in the bidding documents, the city chose to interview the top 3 firms which were deemed as fully qualified, responsible, suitable, and professionally competent to provide the required services. Upon the conclusion of the interview process, GHD was determined by the evaluation committee to have presented the best proposal due to their clear understanding of the work required, staff experience, and successful completion of similar projects. The procurement department requests council's approval to award RFP 10-15 to GHD in the amount of $2,201,415, which includes the base bid of $2,168,415, plus 250 hours of overtime inspection services, which would only be utilized upon the Department of Public Works approval. Council, at this time, I'd like to ask Amanda Pollock to join me for questions.
Thank you. I wanted to add just a couple of comments real quick. As you know, this is the last key team member in the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, so this was a very important selection process. I wanted to go over just very briefly some of the qualifications that were required for these firms to even be able to submit proposals to us. The firm itself had to have been a construction management company on at least 3 wastewater treatment plants greater than $15 million within the last 10 years. The construction manager themselves has to be a licensed professional engineer in the state of Maryland and had been a construction manager on at least 2 wastewater treatment plants that were valued at greater than $15 million. And the lead inspector had to be a full-time inspector on at least 2 wastewater treatment plants greater than $15 million. So we set the bar very high just on the basic qualifications to be able to submit the proposals. As Jennifer noted, we will have 2 full-time inspectors throughout the duration of the contract. The scope of the construction management firm is very complementary to what Brown and Caldwell is doing as far as their change order, which is doing technical review. And as Jennifer noted, we interviewed the top 3 ranking firms, which was very helpful for us to be able to meet the team and really talk to those people and find out what they were going to bring to the table. I do want to note that we have the construction manager from GHD, Vince Maylard, is here tonight, and he's able to answer any of your questions.
So first question, and maybe Mr. Maylard doesn't need to answer this, you probably can, but where is their nearest office? Out of where?
Out of Bowie, I believe.
Bowie, Maryland. Okay. Okay, and I realize you're a global firm. I did see that, but out of Bowie. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, and all the proposed team members on the team are local to the Bowie office. We're about 55 people.
Local to the Bowie office, 55 people. Okay, excellent. Thank you. And then second question, just a process question regarding the interview of the top 3 candidates, which I realize has been a practice in other large contracts. Is there any mechanism in that interview process you use it, based on how we score and result in the composite indicator? Is there any mechanism of the interview process to change our decision or to influence our decision, even if the scoring, places inverse ranking?
The interview is really almost like a fail-safe measure.
Okay.
In this case, it did not. The evaluation was done first, then the interview, and what was seen in the interview backed up the evaluation.
Good. But, I guess what I want to know is if we're going to have an interview as part of the process, I mean, I appreciate the fail-safe mechanism, but, I mean, is that something we could integrate or somehow integrate into scoring for future contracts of this size?
We could consider that. I can look into that.
If there's value from a procurement perspective.
Okay, sure. I can look into that, and I will get back to you on that.
Thank you. Just a thought.
Sure.
Mr. Heath?
Yes, just one clarification, just to make sure I read it right. When you were doing the interviews, they were with the actual personnel that were going, okay.
That's correct. Yes, we asked each firm to bring, at a minimum, their construction manager and their lead inspector. Every firm brought a few more team members as well, so we got to meet the actual people that we'll be working with. And we included, beyond our selection committee, the procurement department sat in on the interviews, as well as a number of the wastewater treatment plant staff that even weren't on the selection committee, beyond that committee.
Great, thank you.
Well, welcome to the team. Are there other questions?
What's GHD stand for?
What does GHD stand for?
Prepared for this one. Well, GHD is an Australian-based company. It was founded in Australia in the 1920s. Gutteridge, Handon, I think Davidson. But we've been integrated as GHD in the United States for about 20 years. But we were founded in Australia originally. United States were about 4,000 people.
There will be a quiz on those names at the end of the council meeting, Ms. Shields. So, okay. Thank you, Amanda.
The next item this evening is a change order. Change order number 1 / First Amendment to contract RFP 09-14. The City of Salisbury awarded contract RFP 09-14 Real Estate Consulting Services to Sperry Van Ness in June 2014. Sperry Van Ness was then instrumental in the negotiation process for RFP 05-14, which was the disposition and development of lots 1, 10, and 11. In February of 2015, the city terminated this exclusive negotiating period with the proposer and proceeded to rebid the solicitation for the redevelopment of the noted parking lots. The bid opening date for the rebid of RFP 05-14 is April 30th. Should the city receive favorable proposals which would necessitate the services of a real estate and redevelopment consultant, the administration wishes to continue the contractual agreement with Sperry Van Ness. At this time, the administration is requesting a 2-month extension of the contract at a flat rate of $5,000 per month, which would include all services as specified in the original scope of work and contract documents. The Department of Internal Services Procurement Division requests Council's approval to process change order number 1, First Amendment, as noted above, to Sperry Van Ness in the amount of $10,000.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. The last item this evening is change order number 3 / Third Amendment to contract RFP 01-11. It's the Automated Speed Enforcement System. The City of Salisbury awarded contract RFP 01-11 Automated Speed Enforcement System to Breckford Corporation in May 2011. The contract sum at that time was 35% of monthly collections. In 2014, speed camera reform legislation was passed in Maryland, which included the phase-out of the so-called bounty system of collections. Existing contracts, such as ours, were grandfathered in until the expiration date of the contract. The city's current contract with Breckford expires in November 2015, with a final one-year renewal option, which would extend the contract until November 2016. To comply with the new legislation, the Salisbury Police Department and Breckford Corporation wish to amend the contract by stipulating a set contract sum per system in operation. This new contract amount will be a monthly sum of $5,750 per system, of which the city currently has 6 automated speed enforcement cameras in operation. And this would go into effect as of the latter of May 1st, 2015, or the date fully executed by both parties. A copy of the amendment is attached. The Department of Internal Services Procurement Division requests Council's approval to process change order number 3, the Third Amendment, as noted above, to Breckford Corporation.
Chief, would you mind coming forward? Just a question about this contract. I realize that state law changed, and so that this is pretty much the requirement now. But in light of a conversation that we had at council a week or two ago regarding the new speed camera on Riverside Drive not producing much yet, I just want to make sure that we're being even more diligent about locating these in areas where they're affecting, both change and actually catching speeders, because the cost per month per location is now the basis, rather than, the number of violations or fines collected. So I just want to be sure that we're being extra diligent about moving them if they're not producing.
We are, and I went back after our session where that had come up. We have been starting to get some violations in there, but that's subject to analysis at all times. And we work very closely with Breckford to come in and do the survey and conduct the audit for us on different locations surrounding our school zones as to where these will be most effective.
So they provide,
yes.
They provide an audit of potential locations.
Yes,
as well.
They'll come in and they'll do an entire site study. They'll have personnel out in the community. They'll be tracking pedestrian traffic, vehicular traffic in the area. They'll determine where along the streetscape that these speed monitoring cameras can be set up so as to really have the greatest impact. So it's not necessarily our determination. We base it off the data that we get after their study is completed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions?
Never figured Lake Street?
I'm sorry?
Never analyzed Lake Street?
Um,
Where Chipman is,
Yes, some of that is with the county, and the county does have a mobile unit out there from time to time, and the Jersey Road area as well. But I don't know what system that they're with, but I do know that they do have the mobile system out there.
Thank you, Chief.
And there's a stoplight right there at that corner as well. It'll slow traffic. Right.
Right.
Stop signs.
Right.
Four-way.
Other questions? Thank you, Chief.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the award of bids as presented, please signify your support by saying aye. Aye. Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is resolution number 2496. This is approving the city's CDBG plan for 2015. I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 2496.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson.
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of council.
Evening.
I'm reviewing from your packet a memorandum from Ms. Stam, our Community Development Director. She's with us this evening if you have any questions when I'm done. The Department of Community Development has completed its 2015 Community Block Grant Action Plan. We anticipate getting funding for the CDBG action plan in the amount of $298,616. It's noteworthy that this is a 4% increase from the plan year 2014. For the 2015 action plan, the CDBG Review Committee and Mayor have reviewed and approved the following projects. $59,723 would go toward the administration. That's 20% of the grant. $72,200 would go to Habitat for Humanity of Wacomico County for housing construction at 412 Cole Circle. $17,480 will go to the Village of Hope for partial funding of repairs of the roof of the residence building. $14,410 would go to the Wacomico County Library for exterior lighting improvements and knee wall enhancements, which are intended to discourage loitering. $46,175 would be used by the City of Salisbury to fund a nuisance officer, again in the Church Street area. And $88,628 would be used by the City of Salisbury for a sidewalk creation program in low to moderate income neighborhoods in the City of Salisbury, again for a total amount of $298,616. The 2015 CDBG Action Plan was made available to the public on March 23rd, 2015. It was available on the city website, and also a hard copy was available in the Wacomico County Library. The 30-day public comment period, and it reads, will end in the memo when it was provided, but did end on April 23rd, 2015. The first public hearing for this 2015 CDBG funding round was conducted on Wednesday, January 28, 2015. The hearing provided all agencies the opportunity to submit their projects. After the verbal presentations, the review committee had the opportunity to ask questions. Once that was done, then the floor was open for comments from the public. The second public hearing was conducted on Wednesday, April 8th, 2015. This hearing presented residents with an update on current projects and once again provided an opportunity for public comment. Attached is Resolution 2496, which authorizes the City of Salisbury to accept the funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Community Development, again in the amount of $298,616, and would also authorize the mayor to enter into that agreement. If the council has any questions, I would likely defer to Ms. Stam.
I have a comment and a question. Ms. Stam, can you come forward?
Thank goodness for department heads. Thank you, Debbie.
Ms. Stam, my comment first, I just want to call attention to and applaud the investment in the library, and note that there's a partnership there. That the city and county both invest in that. Really what amounts to a third-party organization, an independent nonprofit organization, but the county primarily funds. But I'm just glad to see us partnering with the county on that project and working to contribute to downtown as well. But the question I had was regarding the ongoing low-mod neighborhood sidewalk creation program. I was just wondering if you can give us a sense of what $88,628 gets us for sidewalk creation, whether it's linear feet or blocks, or can you give us some sort of sense of what that amounts? Thinking back to the past, what we've gotten.
Boy, I would be hard-pressed to give you linear feet. I know that this particular grant is going to be utilized in the area of Naylor and Brown Streets, where the new fire station is going. So it's going to do, I'm trying to situate myself here. If it's Naylor and Brown Street, It's going to go around the old warehouse. It's
Okay.
going to do curb, gutter, and sidewalk around the old warehouse. There's existing curb and gutter around the fence where the, near the fence where the car place is.
Yes.
So there we just need sidewalk. So it's going to do, I think that almost to the railroad tracks or to the railroad tracks.
Okay.
And in the other direction, again, to the railroad tracks. I have no idea what that is in linear feet, but that's an approximation of what it should cover.
That gives me a good sense of how far it goes. That's all I was looking for. Thank you. Other questions? Mr. Spees?
Yes, actually, give me a second here. Go back to where I belong. Looking at the Wycomico County Free Library, exterior lighting improvements, I understand. Knee wall enhancements to discourage loitering. There's a disconnect in my head here about knee walls. Knee walls, to my knowledge, are things you put in attics.
These are the low concrete walls right there at the entrance.
Oh, it's a pony wall, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, and apparently there's been a long-standing problem with people hanging out there and sitting there and kids climbing on them and jumping off, which is not safe.
I understand the
So
issue.
we're going to put little river rocks on them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Stamp. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and just so you know, the public comment period, as Tom stated, did end on Thursday, April 23rd, and we did not receive any written comments.
Did you receive any spoken comments?
Only the ones from Mr. Finneran of Joseph House Village, who came to the second public hearing, who had nothing but positive things to say about how excited they were about getting their money.
I'm sorry I missed this one. I know at times I've been the only one in the room. That doesn't devalue the importance of it. It really doesn't. It just, people should show up and participate because this is a great source of money from your government.
Well, it's nice that it's televised, because we do occasionally get a call with people who have questions about the program in general, because they've seen one of the public hearings on PAC 14.
Well, it is very important, so thank you. All right, so with that, I'll entertain, or excuse me, with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor of Resolution 2496, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is second reading of ordinance number 2320. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2320.
So moved.
Second.
And we're going to get Mark one of those setups like they have in NASCAR where he has water in the back of the field.
Really?
Mr. Tillman.
You can breathe between sentences.
All right, this is the second reading of this ordinance. This is one of two ordinances. The first one, 2320, is the one affecting the zoning provisions within the law. We had to redefine the significant amount and change it from 20% of the stock in the establishment or display and reduced it to 15%. There was also a change from 20 to 15% with regard to the display area used for the display or storage of merchandise on the floor, walls, or vertical display area of the cabinets, shelves, or racks which rise from the floor or any combination thereof. And obviously the purpose of this was because we felt that the existing law that covered only the square footage did not adequately pick up the merchandise that was being put out for sale. And then the last issue was 15% of the gross revenue, down from 20%. And then with regard to non-conforming uses, this was a change basically that an adult entertainment business lawfully operating in violation of the locational requirements set forth in section 17.166.030 is a non-conforming use and may continue to operate as such until, and then in the brackets we will fill in the date that is 2 years after the effective date of the ordinance. On or after that date, all such businesses shall comply with 17.166. If two or more adult businesses are located within 1,000 feet of one another and otherwise in permissible locations, the adult entertainment business that was first established and continually operating at a particular location is the conforming use, and any later established adult entertainment business is non-conforming. Basically, the purpose of this is that they will now, within 2 years, if they meet the 15% threshold, have to meet all the requirements of being 1,000 feet away from residences, churches, schools, etc.
Okay.
In addition to that, 17.166.090, inspection of premises. Because this is a zoning ordinance, the section was added that would allow, after the city receives a complaint about a business alleged to be in violation of the code regarding the adult entertainment business, the city may inspect the place of business and financial records of such business. Inspections may also be initiated as a result of observations of city inspectors or as a result of a routine audit. And the law also provides that the inspection shall occur after notice has been furnished to the owner and occupants of the place of business, and explains that it'll be sent by mail or by fixing the notice to the place of business in a conspicuous location. 17.166.100, administrative search warrants, basically follows a procedure that would permit the inspector to seek a search warrant for search of the premises or review of financial records. We've found, I think, from past experience that, without having the power to seek a search warrant, it would be literally impossible for us to fully rely, and that we might be denied access to the records or entrance to the place of business. And that's it.
All right. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 2320, again, second reading, please signify your support by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Thank you all. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2321, also for second reading. Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2321.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Tillman?
This ordinance is basically in the section regulating the business of the adult entertainment businesses, and we had to change the same definitions with regard to the definition of significant amount. It covers the exact same things that were covered in the zoning provision. 15% of the stock, 15% of the displayed wares, and 15% of the gross revenue. This section did not require the other additions for search warrants or inspections, because this provision is to be enforced by violation of the criminal laws and by the Salisbury Police Department. And they already have the tools that they might need in order to investigate an alleged crime.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 2321, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all. All right, next item on our agenda is ordinance number 2322. This is also second reading. This is the general obligation bond associated with the wastewater treatment plant. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2322.
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Tillman?
Yes, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury to authorize and empower the City of Salisbury to issue and sell from time to time upon its full faith and credit one or more series of general obligation bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $38 million. Each series of bonds to be issued and sold, and the proceeds thereof to be used and applied for the public purpose of financing, reimbursing, or refinancing costs incurred in connection with enhanced nutrient removal and biological nutrient removal, upgrades and improvements to or benefiting the existing wastewater treatment plant and system. Determining that any such series of bonds to be sold to the Maryland Water Quality Financing Administration by private sale without public bidding, authorizing the approval by resolution of one or more loan agreements with the administration, acknowledging that any loan agreements may provide that payment of the related series of bonds shall be subject to the acceleration upon an event of default, providing for the pledging of any monies that the city is entitled to receive from the state of Maryland, including the city's share of the state income tax, to secure its obligations under any loan agreement. Authorizing the council of the city by resolution to determine and provide for the various matters relating to the authorization, sale, security, and issuance, delivery, payment, and repayment of and for any series of bonds contemplated hereby. Authorizing and directing the payment of any fees or costs provided for in any loan agreement that are not payable from bond proceeds, and providing that the city's obligation to pay such amounts shall be absolute and unconditional as provided in such loan agreement. Providing that cities shall use and apply proceeds of any such series of bonds only as permitted by the applicable loan agreement, the Clean Water Act and the MWQFA Act, authorizing the issuance and sale by the city from time to time upon the city's full faith and credit of one or more series of general obligation bond anticipation notes in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $38 million prior to and in anticipation of any series of bonds in order to finance or reimburse project costs on an interim basis together with capitalized interest and related costs, and for renewal of any such series of bond anticipation notes and related actions, authorizing the issuance and sale from time to time upon the city's full faith and credit of one or more series of general obligation bonds in order to refund any of the bonds issued pursuant to the authority of this ordinance and to pay related costs and costs of issuance, provided that the aggregate principal amount of any such series or refunding bonds shall not exceed 138% of the aggregate principal amount of the bonds refunded therefrom, authorizing the council by resolution to make any further determinations deemed necessary or desirable in connection with the issuance and sale of any such series of bond anticipation notes or refunding bonds, providing that the principal of and or interest on any such series of bonds, bond anticipation notes, or refunding bonds as applicable will be payable in the first instance from the revenues received by the city in connection with the operation of the wastewater system serving the city, and to the extent required by the purchaser of any such series or obligations from revenues received by the city in connection with the operation of the water supply system serving the city, all to the extent any such revenues are lawfully available for such purpose, providing for the levy ad valorem taxes upon all real and personal property within the city's corporate limits, subject to the assessment for unlimited municipal taxation to pay the principal of and interest on any such series of obligations in each fiscal year, pledging the full faith and credit and obligation and unlimited taxing power of the city to the prompt payment of the principal of and interest on any such series of obligations, providing that the principal of and interest on any such series of obligations also may be paid from any other sources or revenue lawfully available to the city for that purpose, authorizing the council by resolution to provide for any amendments or modifications to any series of bonds authorized hereby and related documentation post-issuance, providing that any of the bond anticipation notes or refunding bonds authorized hereby may be consolidated with any other bond anticipation notes, bonds, and or refunding bonds authorized by the council as applicable and issued as a single series of obligations, authorizing and directing officials and employees of the city to take any and all action necessary to complete and close the issuance, sale, and delivery of any such series of obligations, providing that this title shall be deemed a statement of the substance of this ordinance for all purposes and otherwise generally relating to the issuance, sale, delivery, and payment of and for any such series of obligations. And the author of that is here this evening.
Looking at you. Looking at you.
The least I could have done was read the titles.
Well, we appreciate Mr. Tillman reading that. And I also want to thank Mr. Molds for answering all the questions we had at first reading at our last discussion of this issuance. And as we've discussed in the past, this is the single largest capital project the city's ever undertaken, and it's, I realize an incredible endeavor, and we thank Ms. Rader and your colleagues for structuring this, and for the state for funding it. Are there any questions from council for either Ms. Rader, Mr. Molds, or Mr. Tillman? Okay. Anything you'd like to add since you're here? Any other run-on sentences you'd like to contribute? No, I'm just kidding.
We've been working with Maryland Water Quality Financing Administration.
I'm sorry, would you mind doing that from the microphone? Apologize.
We've been working with the Maryland Water Quality Financing Administration on the draft loan agreements they've provided to us, and I have prepared a resolution which will be coming back to you later this month, hopefully fixing the details of the loans. We're looking at 2 separate loans, both being issued on a taxable basis. That's actually good news for the city because Water Quality Financing Administration extends the benefit of a tax-exempt interest rate to the city, but you don't have to worry about complying with the many, many provisions of the federal tax code. And so that will come before you later in May, and we know that the city and Water Quality are both very anxious to get the loans closed before the end of the fiscal year, and we'll be working to do that.
Just out of curiosity, is Mr. Kumon still running the
He is.
MWQFA?
He is.
Just curious. All right. So any other questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Rader. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance number 2322, please signify your support by saying aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Next item on our agenda, thank you all. Next item on our agenda is ordinance number 2324. This is for second reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Tillman.
All right, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment of FY15 General Fund to appropriate funds to purchase 102 replacement radio batteries in the amount of $10,863. I mean, there was discussion of this at the first reading. Is there any need to discuss it again? All right. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that the city's fiscal year 2015 general fund budget speed camera subaccount be amended as follows, with an increase in the general fund revenue by $10,863 and an increase in the police department budget by an equivalent amount.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stall for a moment because we actually need 4 votes to pass a budget amendment. So. And Mr. Heath has stepped out for a moment, but we won't make him feel bad about it when he gets back. I just want to reiterate the unplanned nature of replacing these batteries that was discussed last time. So last time we discussed this item. So occasionally we recognize that there are emergencies that arise or unplanned events that arise throughout the year that are not planned in the budget. And so we end up in a situation like this and right on time. With that, Mr. Heath, any questions?
You made the comment already about that.
I did.
I second his comments. It's important that we catch these things during the
budget process.
During the process.
Agreed. All right, with that, all those in favor of ordinance 2324, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2325, also for second reading. This is also a budget amendment for the police department. Entertain a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Tillman.
All right, this budget amendment was to appropriate funds to upfit Salisbury Police Department tactical team equipment with respect to officer and public safety. The equipment will also decrease city liability by outfitting tactical officers with fire retardant gear, improve weapon optics and illumination, and storage. This again also was discussed at the last session. And now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that the city's fiscal year 2015 general fund budget speed camera subaccount be amended as follows. Increase general fund revenue by $14,500 and increase the police department budget by an equivalent amount.
Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 2325, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right. Next item on our agenda is ordinance 2326, also for second reading. This is the enhanced call verification changes to the false alarm ordinance. Entertaining a motion to approve ordinance 2326.
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second? All right. Mr. Tillman.
All right, this is an ordinance of the city amending Chapter 8.04 of the Salisbury Municipal Code to require enhanced call verification for alarm dispatch notification systems. As you can see, the amendments that were previously requested have been included. And this provision not only allows the enhanced call verification, but it permits people to opt out of enhanced call verification if they wish to do so. This ordinance also includes the false alarm fines, which are to begin with the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and so on violations. And the schedule is set forth there. There would be no fine for the first 5 violations.
I just want to reiterate my thanks to the administration, to the fire department, fire chief, the police department, police chief. Who's she already gone?
She's in the corner.
She's in the corner. Sorry. I want to reiterate my thanks to all of you for working to come to a piece of compromise legislation, I realized there was a compromise made, and we're trying to recover everything we can while working closely with the business community and the alarm companies. So we appreciate you working with us. We appreciate them working with the city, and a multi-year saga coming to an end. So I'm excited about that. Are there other questions, comments?
No, I second what you just said. I think the key to success in everything is being able to sit down and negotiate, and it was a good job by everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Heath. All right, all those in favor of ordinance number 2326, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item on our agenda is the associated bill, ordinance 2327, also for second reading. This is setting the actual false alarm fee rates. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2327.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Mr. Tillman.
All right, this ordinance 2327 would set the rates for both police and fire at 0 for the first and second false alarm. Beginning with the third false alarm, the rate would be $40 for police, $45 for fire. The fourth false alarm, it would be $80 for police, $90 for fire, and fifth and subsequent false alarms in any calendar year would be $120 for the police and $135 for the fire department.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council?
I'm just happy this is happening too. And I'm happy to see the sixth false alarm, the third.
Yeah, I just have a comment I've made before, and I'll make it again, is that the real purpose of doing this is try to encourage people to keep their alarm system up so we don't have false alarms. I will use the correct terminology for the citizens, although, because I've been pointed out that I use the term coming out of the barn. And that's a term that goes back, I don't know how many years, Chief? 100. It used to be called the barn. Some of us still call it the barn. But every time the equipment leaves the firehouse, it puts our safety personnel in jeopardy. I can't tell you how many times you read in the paper over the years injuries that were because of an accident on the way to a false alarm. So that's the real purpose of this, and if it takes some fines to get people to address it, so be it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor of ordinance 2327, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you all. Next item on our agenda for first reading is ordinance 2328. This is budget amendment and transfer for the fire department. I'll entertain a motion. Second. Mr. Tillman.
Yes, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury approving a budget amendment for FY 2015 Fire Department budget to transfer insurance funds received by the city to the Fire Department operating budget from the general fund revenue received for repairs performed on tanker engine 1-1 and tower 16. Whereas tanker engine 1-1 and tower 16 were damaged while performing legitimate City of Salisbury Fire Department duties, and whereas the Fire Department has paid for the repairs to the tanker and tower out of the fire department's operating budget, whereas the city has received a total of $16,276.92 from local government insurance trust for repair to the tanker and tower, and whereas the reimbursement of insurance proceeds will be used to maintain fire department vehicles while operating within the FY 2015 budget. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that the city's fiscal year 2015 budget be and is hereby amended as follows: an increase in the general fund revenue insurance proceeds account by $16,276.92 and an increase in the fire department vehicle account by an equivalent amount.
Questions, comments? I think that's pretty clear. Thank you, Mr. Tillman. No questions for the Chief Office? Okay. All those in favor of ordinance number 2328 then, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is ordinance number 2329, designating a no parking zone on Pinehurst Avenue. This is first reading. Please, entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2329.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Tillman?
Whereas the Traffic and Safety Advisory Committee analyzed the flow of traffic and road width of Pinehurst Avenue, and whereas the committee found that Pinehurst Avenue is 25 feet wide and consists of 2 8.5-foot wide travel lanes and 1 8-foot wide parking lane, and whereas the city typical street section provides for 11-foot travel lanes and 9-foot parking lanes, and whereas vehicular parking on Pinehurst Avenue between Camden Avenue and Lorecrop Avenue could create a potentially unsafe condition for vehicles in the travel lanes, and whereas the committee recommends eliminating parking on Pinehurst Avenue between Smith Street and Lorecrop Avenue to allow for an adequate width for 2 travel lanes, and whereas the no parking zone on Pinehurst Avenue between Smith and Lorecrop Avenue would be in effect at all times of the day and on both sides of the road, and whereas the committee recommends restricting the time of parking on Pinehurst Avenue between Camden Avenue and Smith Street to disallow parking Monday through Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. except by permit, and whereas the Director of Public Works provided the City Council a recommendation of the proposed parking modification at the City Council's work session on the 17th day of November and the 6th day of April, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury to designate a no parking zone on Pinehurst Avenue between Smith Street and Lorecrop Avenue and a restricted parking zone on Pinehurst Avenue between Camden Avenue and Smith Street. Be it further ordered that this ordinance shall take effect upon passage.
Well, first I want to thank the Traffic and Safety Advisory Committee and the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee for all weighing in on this. Appreciate the work in engaging the citizens and meeting with and talking with the citizens who had an interest in rectifying this situation. The one thing I wanted to make sure of was the, okay, we did catch it. The disallowance of parking was set from 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. except by permit. Was originally slated for 7 days a week, but now it's Monday through Friday. Just wanted to make sure we caught that because that was the desire of the residents on the street. So appreciate that. Thank you. You had something else?
I would just for clarification purposes, I would recommend that the language on lines 27 and 28 that says disallow parking Monday through Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. except by permit be added after the line ending on 37 as well. I think it would be, it's clearer.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that amendment? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, any other comments or questions on the larger issue?
Yes, traveling that road every day, and I also sit on the committee. They did contact, as you said, the other members who own properties on that street, but from a safety point of view as well, when there was parking as it exists now, if there's a response from emergency vehicles on that street, it is all but impossible to get down there with especially like the tower ladder, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the right call, I'm sure. Yep. All right. Other comments or questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance 2329 for first reading as amended, please signify your support by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Next item on our agenda is ordinance 2330. This is the granting of a utility easement to Delmarva Power for on city-owned properties. Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2330.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tillman?
Okay, this is an ordinance of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, granting a utility easement to Delmarva Power and Light Company across city-owned properties on Fitzwater Street and Delaware Avenue and Ridge Road in Salisbury, Maryland. Whereas the City of Salisbury owns wastewater pumping stations located on Fitzwater Street and Delaware Avenue and Ridge Road, and whereas the City of Salisbury is performing upgrades at the aforementioned pumping stations, and whereas the upgrades include new electric services from Delmarva Power, which require placement of new transformers on the city-owned pumping station sites, and whereas Delmarva Power has requested that the city enter into a utility easement agreement. And I'm going to recommend that we make a couple little changes here to clarify this. At the end of line 16, I would read a draft of which is attached here too. Instead, so a draft of which. that allows Delmarva Power the right to construct, operate, and maintain the infrastructure in association with the new electric services at the pumping station properties. And then it would go, now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland, that the City of Salisbury allows Delmarva Power and Light Company to construct, operate, and maintain infrastructure within the Delaware Avenue and Ridge Road pumping station properties, and that the mayor is authorized to execute the utility agreements. And then I would add that the following language be added to the end of line 23, with any technical changes recommended by the city solicitor. The copies that were attached are not actually the final copies of those easements. Somehow inadvertently, earlier drafts were put in your packet.
Okay.
When I was looking this over before the meeting, I realized that.
So I will then entertain an amendment. I'll entertain a motion to amend in two places, adding the language, a draft of which to line 16, and with any technical changes recommended by the city solicitor to line 23.
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any discussion?
Yes, could we get a copy of that as soon as that language
Can we
is-
get that
Yeah.
updated?
I
copy
think
of
the
utility
the
agreement?
Public Works Department has it. We sent back our comments with written comments, and we never got back the typed version, and that is not what's here, so we just need to
If we
make
can
sure.
get that, that would be great.
We'll be sure to send it to you.
All right, on the amendment then, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any other discussion? Comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 2330 for first reading as amended, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 2331 for first reading. This is amending the city code to allow for beekeeping. Entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2331.
So moved.
Is there a second?
What's all the buzz about over there?
Second.
How long have you been
really
preparing
had to do
that?
I'm sorry.
I've been waiting all day for
That's
that, haven't you?
I'm sorry.
All right, Mr. Tillman.
All right, this is ordinance number 2331, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury amending Title VI, Animals of the Salisbury City Code, to add definitions relating to beekeeping and enacting Chapter 6.06 to authorize beekeeping subject to certain regulations. This was previously addressed in work session. It's being introduced for the first time. If you'd like me to go through it all, I will, but in effect, we have added definitions that were recommended under 6.06.010. In addition, the purpose was added, which the purpose of this chapter is to authorize beekeeping subject to certain requirements intended to avoid problems that may otherwise be associated with beekeeping in populated areas. And then the 6.06.030, notwithstanding compliance with the various requirements of this chapter, it shall be unlawful for any person to maintain an apiary or to keep any colony or any property in a manner that threatens public health or safety or creates a nuisance. And hives on residential lots were basically being regulated under 6.06.040 as provided in this chapter, and notwithstanding any contrary provision in Title 17 of this code, an apiary consisting of not more than 3 hives or an equivalent capacity may be maintained in a side or rear yard of any residential lot. On a residential lot which is 1/2 acre or larger, the number of hives located on the lot may be increased to 5. And subsection B, a person shall not locate or allow a hive on property owned or occupied by another person without first obtaining written permission from the owner or occupant. It also requires beekeepers to register with the Maryland Department of Agriculture as provided in the Utah Bee Inspection Act set forth in Title 15, Subtitle 7 of the Maryland Annotated Code, and then basically goes on to indicate additional regulation as far as distance from the property line, what type of hives or honeybee colonies, how they'll be kept. You want me to keep reading, or is it necessary? Seems
it's been
pretty clear to
discussed
me.
ad nauseam.
And then under 6.06.070 violations, a violation of this chapter may be remedies provided in section 6.04.280 and 6.04.290 this title. When a violation is committed and provided, it is not charged in conjunction with another criminal offense and does not constitute a fourth or succeeding notice of violation within a 24-month period, an authorized agent of the city shall issue a civil notice of violation to such violator in lieu of a misdemeanor citation.
I assume that direct clearing means you'd like to make a comment?
I just want to say that I don't like bees.
I'm shocked.
And especially in the neighborhoods, beehives, because I know people are people and they're not going to do the right thing. I do agree with the, falling under the Maryland Department of Agriculture, that I hope that people will follow that rule. And did we not say, refresh my memory, that if someone sees, like the Neighborhood Service Center sees a beehive, they will make sure that they are licensed with, what department's supposed to see that? Did we say Neighborhood Services?
Department of Ag.
Our Department of Ag, who would monitor these
I'm of the
beehives?
impression that the police department is primarily responsible for enforcing this.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes.
Animal control.
Animal control.
Yeah, or police department.
We didn't want the police to do that. I thought we were going to have to do that. The police to do that. Which one?
Well, police may refer to the animal control officer. Is that reasonable to say?
I think
So
so.
is that considered animal, bees?
Yes.
They have enough to do, they only have 2 animal control people. So we're expecting them to monitor beehives? Is
Well,
what
they're
you're
not
saying?
expected to monitor. I mean, that's the
They're
thing that
expecting to
we
check their
changed.
paperwork.
No, only if there's a complaint. I mean, that's the thing we changed last time. They're not expected to monitor. The Maryland Department of Agriculture has a system for
Will they give us?
regulation and
And
monitoring.
will the Maryland Department of Ag will give us a list of who has the beehives in our community?
I'm sure that could be requested. That's got to be public information.
Yeah, because we need to know where they are.
And worth noting, that tonight, the Lower Eastern Shore Beekeeping Association is meeting right now,
Bless their hearts.
talking about, and they're meeting in the Camden neighborhood right now,
Bless their
talking about locations to begin to set up in the city of Salisbury as soon as this is passed.
I know you can't sit out on the bench out here on the government building because of bees, and I can't sit on my back step because of bees. And my main concern was people in the neighborhood who may be allergic to bees. We want to make sure they are kept like they're supposed to be kept.
Absolutely.
I've heard people say they don't like wouldn't want bees in their neighborhood, so I'm one of them, but I'm going to support this simply because I want the list of people who do have them. Once this passes, I guess, and they register with the Maryland Department of Agriculture. I understand, I won't call any names, but the cat was out of the bag that some do have beehives already, and they may not be registered with the Maryland Department of Agriculture. So I'm hoping these people do have these beehives. Please register with the Maryland Department of Agriculture, please.
Well, hopefully this will actually enable a reduction of any need to fear bees, since, you know, the domestic strains of honeybees, as it says here, have been selectively bred for desirable traits, including gentleness. So,
Gentle bees.
yes. With that,
I would like to offer an amendment, please.
Mr. Spees.
Oh, Lord.
Line 93 says honeybee colonies shall be kept in hives with removable frames which shall be kept in sound and usable condition. The technology has gone beyond removable frames, so, and those are spoken to in state regulations as well.
I thought we'd removed that.
Yeah, just remove with removable frames.
Entertain.
That's line what?
Line 93 with
93.
removable frames. Is that an amendment?
Eliminate those
Is there a
3
second?
words, please, yes.
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Yeah, there was,
I missed
my
that.
thought was that we had said this should mirror the state's.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we did, and so I think reducing that was.
Is there anything else in there that doesn't I don't remember. See, that's.
Further, item C in line 100.
We
refers
attempted
the
to. I guess we overlooked the A one. So.
Yeah. Line C, or MC, line 100 refers to
Hold on,
the
let's.
states.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Line 100 refers to the state's regulations.
Right.
Right.
So, but back on the amendment, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
So we will then need to re-letter the remaining paragraphs of that section.
I'm sorry? No, we just struck 3 words.
You're only taking
Oh,
out 3 words.
which were the
With removable frames.
Gotcha. Okay. Will be kept in hives.
So the sentence should read, honeybee colonies shall be kept in hives, which shall be kept in sound and usable condition.
Okay.
Any other comments? Amendments? Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance 2331 as amended, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, next item on our agenda is ordinance number 2332. This is the first reading of the city's budget. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2332.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Tillman.
An ordinance appropriating the necessary funds for the operation of the government and administration of the city of Salisbury, Maryland for the period July 1st, 2015 to July 30th, 2016, establishing the levy for the general fund for the same fiscal period and establishing the appropriation for the water and sewer, parking authority, city marina, and storm water funds. Be it ordained by the city of Salisbury, Maryland, that the amounts listed in Schedule A operating budget appropriations are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year July 1st, 2015, and ending June 30th, 2016, to fund operations of the city of Salisbury, Maryland. Be it further ordained by the city of Salisbury, Maryland, that the amounts listed on Schedule B, capital project appropriations, are hereby appropriated for capital projects. Be it further ordained that the tax levy be and the same be hereby set at .937 per $100 of assessed valuation of real property and at 2.21 per $100 of assessed valuation for all personal property subject to taxation by the city of Salisbury for general fund purposes, including debt service purposes, exclusive of revenue derived from the water and sewer fund for debt service purposes attributed to water and sewer activities. And paragraph 2, all taxes levied by this ordinance shall be liens from and after July 1st, 2015, and shall be due and payable as specified in Title 14 of the Tax Property Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland as amended. That all fees adopted by this ordinance and all other fees currently in effect shall remain so unless changed at a future date by the Salisbury City Council. Be it further ordained by the City Council that a public hearing on the proposed budget ordinance will be held on blank in room 301, 125 North Division Street, Salisbury, Maryland.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman.
We will set a date.
First and foremost, for anyone who has been watching on PAC 14 or who has attended the meetings, they know that we are just in the beginning stages of the review of the budget. We have a significant amount of work to do. As we continue, we have to hear from the departments. There are many departments we haven't heard from yet. But I just want to reference one thing. I personally want to reference one thing at the start of this process, which is that I want to thank Mayor Ireton and applaud Mr. Stevenson, Mr. Cordry, and your staff for, one, providing a balanced and well-designed budget, but most importantly for meeting the primary objective of each council member, expressed primary objective of each council member, which was no tax increases. In fact, reducing, we'll talk about that soon, reducing the water and sewer rates as well. So we appreciate you and your hard work for that. I know that's no small feat. So Mr. Cordry in particular, thank you for your hard work, Mr. Stevenson and the mayor.
Thank you.
That's all I have, unless there's anything else from other council members. If you have any interest, please, to the public in attending, I'll just briefly note that we have coming up a budget session from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 29th in room 306 of this building. Our next session after that is 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Monday, May 4th, and then again on Tuesday, May 5th from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. All of that is also in room 306. And then at the end of May, we'll have second reading of this budget, which will be the adoption of this budget. Other questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance number 2332, this is the fiscal year 16 budget for first reading, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Next item on our agenda is ordinance number 2333. This is setting the water and sewer rates for fiscal year 16. This is for first reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2333.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Tillman?
An ordinance of the City of Salisbury to amend sewer-only rates to new amount and decrease all other water sewer rates by 2%, making said changes effective for all bills dated October 1st, 2015, and thereafter unless and until subsequently revised or changed. Whereas the water and sewer rates must be revised in accordance with the proposed fiscal year 2016 budget of the City of Salisbury and the appropriations thereby made and established for purposes of water and sewer departments. Now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the Council of the City of Salisbury that the following water and sewer rate schedule shall be adopted by the City of Salisbury. And I don't know if you want me to go through the next couple pages and amounts. Okay.
But I do want to mention, and I know Mayor Ireton would want to mention if he were here, and I'm sure is delighted to be able to announce that, in particular in the urban service districts outside of the city where we provide water and sewer, the new analysis of or the new way in which we set the rates leads to a reduction in rates for many of those people who had been paying by number of fixtures for a long time, and it had resulted in many a house where there might be one or two people living in it paying a small fortune for water service that they weren't using. It didn't match their consumption. Mr. Cordry, I don't know if you want to do a better job than I just did explaining that, but you're welcome to come forward and explain how that reduction is working, unless you're satisfied with my explanation. If you wouldn't mind.
There's not too much I could add except that Public Works Director analyzed the rates, evaluated and proposed new fixed amounts that could replace the existing amounts. And I think all of those citizens will be very happy with the change.
I have a quick question. I know some of the urban service districts are mostly rental properties, especially on the west side, in the West Road area. Would they be affected by this?
All properties,
okay,
would regardless.
Reservation.
Yeah, because all bills go to the property.
Yeah,
property
that's good. That's good.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of ordinance 2333 for first reading, please signify your support by saying aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. And that ends the marathon. I have no requests for public comment. I'll note again that our next budget session, let me just find that again, is Wednesday. Room 306 of this building, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I'll reiterate also that Governor Hogan will be signing the bill increasing production limits for Wycomico County only breweries tomorrow. So we thank him and we thank the legislature and our representatives for that, fighting for that, and fighting for economic development in Wycomico County and Salisbury. With that, have a lovely evening, and we are adjourned.